to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. Are you a goofball that loves Giants football? If so, sit back and relax as we talk about the team that both excites and frustrates us so much. And now, here are your goofball hosts, Drew and Rob.
Welcome, fellow goofballs, to Two Giant Goofballs, the New York Giants podcast. I am Drew, joined as always by...
me. Oh, Rob. I made it back tonight.
You already made it. You made it. So,
Really?
guys, we're going to do things a little different than we've been doing lately. We've been giving you guys all the breakdown of all the scouting of the players there for this upcoming draft. We're going to take a night off from doing that. We're going to give you guys a little bit of Giants news. It's outside of that type of stuff there. We don't try to force episodes out that are just like, let's give you the latest Giants news. There's nothing to tell you. Good night.
Yeah.
Good night. But
It's a good day.
It's a slow time of the year, but a couple things have happened here. So we're going to go ahead and do that, and then we'll get back to our draft, scouting later on there for you guys. Before we get started on the topics that we have at hand, there's something I don't want to call it a topic. It's more like a statement of support, I probably would say, is probably the best way to put it. So those of y'all that are involved with Giants content creators besides us, involved with the Twitterverse, the Xverse, whatever the hell you want to call it, because it was all over there like crazy.
The X going to give it to you.
Yeah. The big news yesterday was that it was announced that Talking Giants went ahead and split up the duo of Bobby Skinner and Justin. And listen, we're not involved in it. Let's be very frank on that. We don't have all the details. So I don't want to sit there and bash Justin. I'm very clear on that. I have no issue, no beef with Justin. I don't mind that he signed a contract before Bobby signed his. That's his decision. That's his financials. I don't get in other people's wallet. I don't want people in my wallet. Point blank.
Yeah.
But John Boy Media, I'm going to say point blank, I have an issue with. Now, little background, because people might be like, hey, why the hell are you guys even talking about this? It's not our show. Most shows don't talk about other shows to a certain degree there. We have a lot of respect for Bobby Skinner. Not that we don't for Justin as well. We got no issue with him. But when we first went to talk about doing this show, I was a guest on another show that's not even around anymore, with Giants podcast. I went to a few of the bigger names that I won't name who I went to and asked them, hey, would you guys be willing to listen to this? And I want to get your feedback as far as how I did a podcast. And I guess I talked to people that were in media, podcasting, people that happen to be in media but also have a podcast, like a couple other people like that. The only person, and I probably said this before in the show because I will bring this up every time I talk about Bobby Skinner. The only person who came back to me with anything and took the time to listen to that episode and give me feedback was Bobby Skinner.
Yeah,
the only one. On top of that, when Rob and I first started this show, it was the bi-week episode of the very first season that Rob and I did this. Bobby Skinner came on our show. And he did that. We were nobodies. Again, I'm not trying to say we're big time or anything like that. We're probably mid-tier as far as subscribers and views, as far as that kind of stuff. Like, we don't try to make ourselves puffed up and bigger than we are. But we were nobody back then. Like, nobody, point. We were getting like 20, 30 views on, on the I'm saying this time I'm talking to YouTube. We weren't doing YouTube back then. This is when we're doing audio. Just audio. We're doing like 20, 30 views at the time. Bobby Skinner came on and supported us. I have watched their shows, commented in the the comment section there, and he has point blank been on Talking Giants, said, hey, I've been on that show. They're great guys. You guys should give them a subscription. You should give them a follow. You should give them a listen. So he's gone out of his way to support us in those ways. On top of that, when the Talking Giants did their content creators episode, they chose me and Rob to be on that. Now Justin wasn't on that. Again, not a knock on Justin. That was a Bobby thing that was as far as the episode. So we are going to 100% support Bobby in this. What they're saying is basically that John Boy Media came to Bobby Skinner and basically told him, move to Florida. Oh, sorry, move to New York. We're going to give you a $3,000 raise, or we're going to cut your salary in half and make you a contracted employee, which is a key part there because it means you lose all the benefits you got for them as well. It's interesting because Justin, when he did the Talking Giants episode, they had a little brief thing talking about it. He said that Talking Giants, to the best of his knowledge, had the highest listener interaction rate and return rate of any of the John Boy Media shows. So why John Boy Media thought they should go ahead and screw with that is, first off, stupidity.
Yeah.
Absolute stupidity. But like I said, we just wanted, as a show, to show our support for Bobby Skinner. Like I said, we have no issue with Justin. I got to keep reiterating that because I do see people bashing him. Like, I don't know all the details. I don't need to. Yeah. It's not my business. But I'm not going to bash Justin if I haven't heard anything that makes me say, hey, I should bash Justin. Like, I know Bobby said on his show he's a little mad at him right now, but he didn't sit there flipping out. He didn't go. So again, I'm not going to be that guy to say anything bad about Justin. But Talking Giants and John Boy Media specifically, I have issues with. And I will still support Justin and what he does separately on there. I can tell you, Talking Giants won't get a dollar of my money just because I don't want to support John Boy Media at this point. But like I said, I got to go ahead and give support to Bobby Skinner. So he does have a new show. And he asked content creators to reach out to him about having them on the show. We did reach out to him. I'm sure he'll come on at some point because, again, he's been on the show before. But he has his own new show now. It's on, I'm going to give you guys on YouTube. I know from talking to Bobby in the past, he is big on YouTube as his preferred platform, I'll say. YouTube.com/@GiantsNationPod. So Giants Nation is the name of the show, but that's what it is on YouTube.com/@GiantsNationPod. Listen, I'll tell you guys point blank, he already has 10 times the subscribers we do. You know, that doesn't shock me at all.
No, he's got the biggest one. He was the biggest. He was on one of the biggest podcasts, the independent podcast for Giants media that's out there, and he's just had a ton of followers. Like, he does a good job at what he does, and once again, that's not a knock on Justin either. Like, he does a great job as what he's doing as well. But it's a no-brainer.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I said, just really stupid on John Boy Media's part. I'm sorry. It's really, really stupid. Now, if you weren't happy with what you're getting money-wise or something like that, you want to talk about a salary cut because of X, Y, or Z, I don't really know the particulars in the business, but the way we were told it went down was kind of, not so cool. And obviously, on Justin's part, when he talked about on Talking Giants, he said point blank that John Boy Media, a big part of them is living in New York and be able to be on other shows and stuff like. So he said point blank that was the issue as well. So I'm inclined to think, because both parties have said it, that's legit how it went down.
Yeah.
So therefore, again, I will not support John Boy Media in any way, shape, or form. Like I said, on a separate note, I will still support Justin unless I hear anything later on. But in the meantime, we are here 100% to support Bobby Skinner and his new show, Giants Nation Pod. And like I said, we just wanted to go ahead and give everybody that knowledge as far as that, to publicly show our support for him, because he's shown support for us on multiple occasions. And we appreciate him for doing that. And like I said, we want to speak up when we feel the need to for him. Not that he can't speak up for himself. He's pretty loud, but
he definitely grabs attention to the room.
He's good at that. He's good at that.
Bobby.
Just Google Saquon Barkley peeing on Soldier Field. You'll find out real quick how loud he can be. All right, guys. Let's get into Giants news now. So first we're going to talk about, is the Giants not picking a QB at 3? Listen, every single scenario pretty much up to this point has been the Giants taking a quarterback with a 3rd overall pick. The 3rd overall pick, quarterback, every single mock draft. And a lot of them still is. This is from Adam Schefter, who, obviously is considered, it's like him and Ian Rappaport are the 2 people that are like the breaking news guys in the NFL world there. He said, it certainly feels like the Cleveland Browns are inclined to look elsewhere aside from quarterback. And it's starting to feel like the New York Giants at number 3 are starting to look elsewhere other than quarterback. I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, Rob, but I feel like this talk really started after we got Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston, which is crazy to me, as if those 2 signings somehow mean no quarterback.
Yeah, it really stemmed from, oh my God, Winston, should they still draft a quarterback or should they get someone free agency? We know from the get-go, like, you got the guy that's one of the best backup quarterbacks in the league that can hold his own and not embarrass himself. Really fun in the locker room. Really fun to watch. Is he going to be your starting quarterback for the next 5-10 years? No. He was just, like a bridge idea. Let's see what else we can do.
Let's
and
build
go
a
out.
Bridge.
Ooh. Winston. You build the bridge on church with the Reverend. But then you go get Russell Wilson. Right? That's a good pickup for the Giants. But he's 36, going to be 37, right? He's on a downward spiral. We've seen the downward spiral. Like, they see a systems quarterback. Like, let's see where he succeeded. Steelers and with Seahawks. Not so much with the Broncos. So, is he the future quarterback for the next 5-10 years? No. But you got yourself some good options in order to see who can play better as you draft someone. Because if you're going to draft out of this class for a quarterback, you damn well be better sending this person to let them develop and let them move on. And that's what you just did, is you gave yourself a security blanket.
Yeah, and I feel like there's nothing wrong with setting up for, a situation where you can let him sit for a year. Like, listen, no matter what you think as far as what the Giants are going to do, as far as, getting Sanders, not getting Sanders, what your thoughts are on Sanders, you have to understand that Shedeur Sanders is point blank not a top flight quarterback prospect. And what I mean by that is not even a disrespect to him. What I mean by that is he's not the guy that you go and go, this guy's going to change the franchise overnight. Like, he's not Jaden Daniels.
No.
But can you let him sit for a year, develop him, and let him come in next year into the league and be a better player than he would have if you just threw him to the wolves? You all know I'm big on that. Like, I think point blank that it's a travesty the way the NFL tries to shove rookies out there, don't give them a chance to develop at all. And they goes like Anthony Richardson with the Colts, by the way, classic example. Oh my God, I can't believe he failed. Who would have thought? Well, you threw him out there when he wasn't ready. Who of course he's not. It's like sending somebody to a party saying, hey, why don't you get changed? We're about to leave. And then just going in the room and shoving them out the door and they show up to the party naked. How did this not go well? Who would have thought?
Well, I mean, depends on what kind of party you go to.
That's true. It could be a news holiday party, but that's a whole separate topic for a whole other episode.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, that's what I feel like it is. Like, these kids aren't prepared. They're not ready to go. And you're throwing them out there, and then you're shocked they can't hang with the big boys. They're not there yet.
I mean, look at some of the best quarterbacks in the league right now. They sat. Like, and there's a long history of quarterbacks that sat, that played better and had a longer career than quarterbacks that just get thrown to the wolves. Like, yes, usually the quarterbacks that have to get that are the best players are the ones that go into the worst teams because they need the change. They need someone, and that's just the way. That's part of it. But like, I mean, Green Bay, they've always drafted quarterbacks and let them sit for not just 1 year, like 3-4 years. And they've all come out, and especially like they had 3 quarterbacks in the past 35 years.
Yeah.
It's,
And this is why you let them sit. It's a better success rate. And what I think is crazy is we've talked about the show numerous times this year. We talked about it last year. We kind of reiterate this all the time. Remember a couple of years ago, Kayvon Thibodeau was a horrible interviewer, and the Giants would never want anything near him. Like, We had no clue that the Giants were going to take Deonte Banks a couple of years ago. Like, we don't know what the Giants are going to do, guys. Like, I feel like a lot of shows are like, they feel like they need to sit there and say, like, oh, I think this is what the Giants are going to do. And listen, I can tell you point blank what I think the Giants are going to do. I can give you my opinion all day long. You all know I can do that. I can talk.
Yes, you're very opinionated.
Loquacious I am. But,
ooh.
Yeah, I use the Latin term there, yes. From the term loquax, which is to speak in Latin. It's an SAT word. But I feel like, you know, I don't want to sit there and lie to y'all and say, oh, I know exactly what's going to happen. I think I know what's going to happen. And what I really think is going to happen is the Giants do one of two things. So I should say one of three things. And it's a cop-out answer. I'm going to tell you guys point blank at that.
I was going to say
it really is a cop-out answer. They need to take Shedeur Sanders if they're comfortable with him being a quarterback in the future. They're going to take the best player available, or they're going to trade down. I'm hoping number 3, personally, myself. Unless they like Shedeur Sanders that much, they think he's a quarterback in the future. I'm not sold either way on him really now. I'm kind of on the fence. And it's very rare for me to be on the fence. I'm on that fence right now.
Yeah, I'm on the fence, and we've talked about it for a long time that we think Ward was the number one.
100%.
And now the Titans are, for the past month, they're on board with us. They think the same thing.
Yep.
So it's, yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, we'll find out what they're going to do. But it's funny how, like I said, this talk started, I feel like, after Russell Wilson and after Jameis Winston. And I don't think that has any bearing on whether they draft or don't draft Shedeur Sanders. Now, you can sit there and say, because they got these two guys, they're not required to go get Shedeur Sanders at 3. That would be correct.
That's a true statement.
But to sit there and say they won't get him because they have those two, I know it sounds very similar, the wording, but those are two completely different things. Yes. Getting those two does not preclude you from taking Shedeur Sanders. Another SAT word, preclude.
Ooh,
look at this.
Were you studying?
I'm like a Scrabble board today.
Yeah.
But that's where I feel like it's at. Like, there's a difference. There's a difference in the two things, guys. So we'll find out what's going to happen. And we're going to find out draft night. That's what it boils down to. And I guarantee you it'll go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth over the next couple of weeks. Where it's going to be, guys. We got another 2-3 weeks to go here. Like, it's going to be a while before we know what's going on, because we'll find out as everybody else does. And you'll be with us because, of course, we'll be doing the draft live as we always do, guys. So just put that in your calendars right now if you haven't already. First night, second night, every single pick, Rob and I will be here.
Oh, yeah.
We'll be freaking exhausted on Friday, but we will be here, goddammit.
Oh, we will be here.
Oh, my God, we'll be exhausted. Like 5 hours in between picks.
Yeah. This is the first year, second year, we're like, why are we doing second rounds?
I think every year we're like, oh my God, why are they still giving them 15 minutes in between picks?
Yeah.
Like, you all know you're going to pick, just pick them already, goddamn it. And I get it for the latter picks, but I feel like the first couple picks, it should be much shorter. Like, especially the first pick at the draft, there should be no clock for you.
Yeah, you've had literally
think
about this.
Exactly. You've had 4 months. Stop it.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get into other suggestion that ESPN gave here for the Giants on the draft night here. And they did a mock draft where the Giants traded down. And this is something that Rob and I, we've talked about this as a legitimate potential option. Now, in their scenario, Cam Ward went number 1 to the Titans, and Shedeur Sanders went number 2 to the Browns, which is a possibility, guys. It really is. I know that we're just talking about potentially neither team getting a quarterback, but I should say neither, but either the Giants or the Browns getting a quarterback. But it is possible. That's how it goes. And it's all, that's when the phone call is going to happen, because the Giants would need their time in that scenario, because Abdul Carter, Travis Hunter are going to get people interested, point blank. And y'all know where I stand on him. I don't trust Abdul Carter and his foot injury, a stress reaction, or whatever the hell you want to call it.
Yeah.
You're too young to be having foot injuries. I want nothing to do with that. Travis Hunter, I don't think he's going to succeed. I feel like people are mishearing what I said, because I got a couple comments on the videos and stuff we did. It's not that I dislike Hunter. It's not that I think Hunter will be a failure in the NFL. He'll be a failure as an elite prospect in the NFL. There is a difference. he will probably peak out as a second receiver on the team. It's just my own opinion. I could be wrong. Wouldn't be the first time. Won't be the last. It's my opinion. But when you have those two guys as the top guys that everybody wants, if the Giants are at all in the same mindset as myself, which they may not be, who knows? Why would you trade down when somebody else is going to want to take those guys? Those are the guys coming off the board now. So in this scenario, what they did is the Giants got from the Panthers pick number 8, the second round pick, next year's second round pick, and obviously they gave up the 3rd overall pick, and they gave up a 5th round pick. So they went from 5th round pick to a 2nd round pick, got into the 2nd round pick next year, and went down 5 spots. I can't hate that.
No, I mean,
I could say I'd probably want a little more, but like you said, point blank, make that decision. Which way are you going, Rob?
Probably going to trade down. Like, there's a good opportunity that you still might be able to get Shedeur.
Well, no, Shedeur's going to this scenario. That's what I'm saying. So Shedeur went number 2. So Ward went number 1. Shedeur went number 2.
Oh yeah. Either way, I would take it.
So here's what I look at in this. So you're at 8, okay. Again, Carter and Hunter are going to go 3 and 4 probably in that scenario. You got to think that's what's going to happen, and let's assume that that Hunter who goes first, Carter goes next. Tet will probably go to like the Patriots or somebody like that because they're desperate for a wide receiver. Now you're at pick 6, 7, 8, like in the exact range the Giants are. They can maybe still get a Mason Graham, a Will Johnson, somebody really, really going to look at beefing up this defense a little more because that's where the top end talent is really on defense. I know people want an offensive juggernaut, but unless you get Ashton Genty, that's the only really guy that I can sit there and say is that spot.
I was literally about to say there's a running back out there.
And listen, I wouldn't be against it.
That could replace a running back that we lost.
I would not be against it. And you know what the best thing for me in that would be is I feel like if he gets down to where Dallas is, where are they even drafting? I feel like Dallas would take him in a heartbeat, and it'd be hilarious to beat Dallas out in that. So Dallas is 12. But again, you have to, for a running back, this gets you back to the topic of Shedeur Sanders. You better be sure he's a stud. Like he's got to be a 1,000-yard rusher year in, year out to make that pick worthwhile. I just, like I said, to me, there's not a lot of great players in this draft. And that's where I look at it.
But there's not a lot of top in the first.
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Like
that's what I mean by great.
Top. There's a lot of depth talent in this draft. Like there's going to be a lot of good players in the 2nd and 3rd round that are going to be NFL. Like they're probably going to have long NFL careers.
It's also, I don't think there's that much of a difference between picking 3 and picking, number 8 in that scenario. I really don't.
Not in this year's draft.
I'm biased because I don't like Hunter or Carter. That's where my bias comes in. So I will tell you guys that point blank. But I feel like there's a difference if you like those two and you think they're elite, like I know a lot of people do. I know I'm in the minority. But if you don't think they're elite and you got somebody else who does think they are, why not take the picks? I'm telling you guys right now, Mason Graham, we'll talk about him when we talk about the the scouting reports. The more and more I watch this kid on tape, I think he's going to be the best player in this draft.
Yeah.
And there's not often I will say that about a defensive tackle. So you want to talk about elite? Because I put this up since JPW said, yeah, why give up an elite player for some middle-of-the-road guys here? You need impact plays, not a collection of jags. This is what I'm saying. These aren't just not the guy. There's not that much of a drop off. In my humble opinion, even though I'm not humble at all. Yes.
But no, I think you're right. Like, number 1, Cam Ward. Was that been number 1 last year? The year prior? Probably not.
Yeah.
Shedeur Sanders was eligible in the last year's draft. Where was his ranking? It's like 10, 12 of the quarterbacks coming up. And now you have a weak quarterback class coming up, and there was hype for him to be number 1, but he drops to number 2, maybe even further down.
Jason, you need to find a trade partner too. Like I can say, yeah, I want a wife. Doesn't matter if everyone thinks I'm ugly. That's why you got to find the one that doesn't think you are, Jay.
Beauty's on the inside, my friend.
No, that's what I mean. Like in this scenario, that's what they gave. They gave the Panthers that option. Again, somebody's going to want Hunter. Someone's going to want a Carter. That's just. There's no doubt in that. You're not getting like 3 first-round picks or anything crazy for the pick. So, all right. Let's pay the bills real quick, guys. Then we're going to read the rest of your guys' comments as well. And then we're going to get into the rest of the topics here we got for you guys today.
Enjoying the show? Looking for more goofball action? Consider a membership at buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs. Memberships start at just $5 and give you additional goofball access. One-time support payments also available starting at just $3. buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs.
All righty, Jay starts off with the goofball legends. You're definitely not legends to anybody.
Yeah.
Angel says free Bobby. Well, he's been
Bobby.
freed. He's freed. He's been freed.
Damn it, Bobby.
Unleashed Roberto. He's right here. He's not leashed. There's no leash on him.
I'm not an animal.
Well, actually, I guess your headset's kind of like a leash.
A little bit, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. And Deb said, I'm glad you brought this up, guys. Yeah, like I said, we will always stand up for stuff we don't agree with within this business. Like a lot of the stuff people argue about, politics, religion, that stuff, we're not touching that stuff here. Point blank, not touching it. This is a sports show, but this is within our wheelhouse. And like I said, we definitely felt the need to support Bobby and publicly do so. Jason Skinner probably shouldn't have aired all the dirty laundry. I think he actually didn't.
Yeah, I think there's a lot on the inside.
He left out a lot of the details of how he got to be. He also didn't go into what his issue with Justin was. He said he had an issue with him, but he didn't go into details with it. I think he kind of recognized that you don't want to say something in the heat of the moment that you regret later on. And I don't want to speak for him. He can give us that if he wants to, but I think that's what I took it more as. Like, I'm ticked right now. I don't want to say why I'm ticked. I don't want to regret it later on or speak out of anger when this just happened. That's what I took that as, personally. Deb says, disagree, Jay. I like the transparency and thought he was genuine. Why protect John Boy? Exactly.
Yep.
Jay says, the only shows I really care about is Goofballs, Giants Insider, Big Dash, because they connect with viewers. Others, not so much. Listen, there's other ones, too, that I like as well. We have the benefit of, again, I feel like I'm going to be like making us seem like we're bigger than we are. Like, I'm not trying to be that guy, but because of the fact that we do a show and people that are other content creators hear the show, we get a different angle. Like, we get a different level of conversation at times with some of these guys there. So I've gotten to know some of them well, but I also recognize that as a listener, you might get a different experience with some of those people than I do, if that makes sense. Without trying to, again, not trying to pump us up to be like, the Adam Schefners of the Giants. Like, that's not where we're at, obviously. But like I said, we're at least middle of the road as far as, stats and views. And I can see what everybody else does. It's all there if you got the right programs to see it. I can tell you everybody's views. But like I said, I can say this again, we get more views than SI.
Ooh.
The SI Giants country gets less views than us. So as I say, we're not small, but we're not talking Giants.
Yeah.
I don't try to say otherwise. Angel says, asking your employees to cut half their salary and say you're doing a favor is crazy. Oh, yeah. Especially when you take away their health benefits and stuff like that. And, paid time off and that kind of stuff. That means, I'm sure, again, I don't know this exact benefits package you got, but I'm sure that's part of it.
Yeah.
Jay says, Deb, what I'm saying is that's it. Great entertainment, but good luck finding the job in media after thrashing your employer on their platform. Here's the beauty of it, though, Jay. When you're popular, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The man just announced, hey, I'm leaving. He's got 13,000 subscribers on YouTube, just like that.
Yeah.
He'll be fine.
He's definitely going to be fine. And plus, some people that maybe work for John Boy, like, they have insider how they were. Like, once again, I'm just assuming. I don't know the insides of it.
No.
I'm not going to act like I do, but sometimes you work for an employer that seems like really great when you're not working for them.
Yep. And I'm not going to sit there and say, again, that we know every single detail of what happened between him and John Boy. I mean, he might have said and done things that wasn't appropriate either. All I know is If you want to get rid of somebody, just get rid of them. Have the balls to do it. Don't just sit there and say, oh, we're going to offer you this to move. I know you don't want to move and you're not going to move, but we're going to offer you this. And if you don't take it, we'll give you something we know you'll definitely turn down. That's what they did.
Yeah.
That's just a wrong move. Just tell them point blank, I want you to move to Florida. That's the only we're interested in continuing this. Have the balls to say it. They don't. I said not Florida. I keep saying Florida. New York. He lives in Florida. He's a Florida boy like me. Jay says the content creator stuff, there isn't a ton of money. A big company getting into it needs to see pretty big returns. Let me just tell you, Jay, we're able to afford some fancy things thanks to the Buy Me a Coffee. Okay.
Yeah. I have coffee in the morning.
I'll tell you guys point blank. I honestly, I will tell you guys point blank things that I feel like other shows don't want to release because they like to kind of keep them things hidden behind the curtain. Like Rob and I are definitely not getting rich doing this. We're definitely not quitting our day job anytime soon. You know, we'll make a couple $100 a month off doing this. Like nothing crazy though. That's it.
Yeah.
You know, and listen, we didn't do it for the money. We do it because we were going to sit and BS and talk football anyway. And we actually enjoy doing this. This is actually therapeutic for me. That's why what I tell people all the time, like they ask, like, how do you do this and how do you do it? Because let's be honest, 3 nights a week is a lot of shows compared to some of the programs out there. Yeah. This actually centers me after busy days of work and all. This gets my mind off doing it. I'm wired where I have to be thinking, doing, and working at all times. It's just the ADD in me. I know, surprise, I have ADD. Yeah. But this is something I can do and focus on. Does not work that I enjoy doing, and it actually calms me. And that's why when we say thank you guys for being involved and listening, it literally is us not giving you lip service. It's saying thank you because this is something we enjoy doing, and it helps us. But like I said, most people aren't going to do it for that kind of money at that point and consider it as like a potential career. Now, Bobby's in a different position because he does get those kind of views. He can do one video and get as much as we do in a month. Yeah. In fact, he got, I think, 58,000 views off of his leaving video on YouTube. That doesn't include everything on Facebook and all this. I mean, he's not going to be hurt. Don't worry, he'll be fine.
Yeah, 58,000 views.
Yeah, he'll be fine. Isn't it bad? I know the number off the top of my head.
Yeah, I had it up. That's why.
Yeah. Jason's House is Patreon. Skinner's. I mean, like I said, he'll be fine. And I know he said he's increasing it because he's trying to recoup some of the money he's losing. You know, but again, it was $2. I think it's gonna be $6 now. It's still not bad. Deb says, what I question is if they really believe Ward or Sanders were the franchise QB, why did they pursue Stafford? I'm not sold. If not sold on either of them, the draft BPA.
This is why. It's because how old Stafford?
Yeah.
If they're pursuing Stafford, because one, he's pretty much going to be a bridge quarterback. You know, you're not going to have him for the next 5-10 years. Who better than a guy that won a Super Bowl, has been a pretty elite quarterback through his career, has put up solid numbers to teach a guy coming in. That's why you pursue a guy like Matt Stafford. That's why you pursue a guy like Russell Wilson, because he's a guy like, which I think Denver and I think the Steelers humbled him a little bit from what it sounds like from the outside media. But you bring a guy like that in to coach up your younger staff that's coming out.
Yeah. And I don't disagree with what you're saying, Deb, as far as that. But I think because of the fact they didn't get Stafford, you have to kind of change the dynamics of this a little bit. Because now it doesn't matter of do they think he's as good as Stafford? It's do you think he's as good as Russell Wilson? That's the conversation now. And the second you think he's better than Russell Wilson, you might as well go get him. Because he's younger, he's cheaper, he can have you a long-term answer there.
Yeah.
That's really what it boils down to. Hirsch for real. Hello, fellas. What's up?
Hello.
This is a smoke screen. Giants are drafting Shedeur Sanders at 3. I'll tell you this, Shedeur Sanders seems to think that. Everything you see online, he thinks that. Definitely seen a couple of videos with him talking about it. Again, with AI and stuff the way it is nowadays, I didn't want that to be a segment or something we say, oh, this is what he said, because I don't know. Wasn't verified crazy pages. But I've definitely seen some videos out there with him saying that he thinks basically the Giants are going to draft him. So Jason's big market teams, it's not easy to sit QBs. That's why you have to get somebody else. I mean, let's be honest. The Giants fans were pissed when they put Eli in his rookie year because Kurt Warner was playing good enough that this was a potential playoff team. That's legit how it went down back in 2004. And he fell on his face, and the Giants did not get in the playoffs that year. But in the long term, they won 2 Super Bowls. It was worth it. Jason, I think they're drafting Hunter, just my humble opinion. They booed us, which I think was the Ashton Genty part. Deb says that she agrees with Jay. Yeah. Let's see here. Deb says, when are you getting some merch? I need a new coffee mug. So it's funny you say that. Deb, I feel like she sets us up sometimes. She really does.
Yeah.
So we're going to be doing some merch soon. We've been working on a couple of ideas for different things, actually. I'll take the blame on this one person. I've had a lot of things going on lately. And, I haven't told you guys too much because, I don't know. I keep something separate. But I had a death in my family. I had a wedding. I had to help a neighbor this past weekend. So I've had 3 weekends in a row that I couldn't do stuff that I usually do for this show on the weekends when I get some spare time to sit around and do that stuff. But yeah, like I said, we are going to be doing that stuff very soon. We have designs Rob and I have been working on with that stuff. We have gotten a good chuckle when we see the actual design and everything. I'm just going to say, listen,
there's some good ones out there.
We got some good ones here coming. So yes, Deb, that is definitely coming. Thank you for bringing it up. Angel says, I work at a promotional company. Let me know what we printing. Listen, let me know. Shoot me an email. It's 2giantgoopballs@mail.com. We're happy to see anything as far as that. But yeah, we're definitely gonna be doing stuff soon. As Jay says, coffees for closers. Love that movie.
Yep.
Jay says Bobby even has fancy creamers. He says, you sound like a porn star. I love it. Gonna do it anyways. Might as well get paid. Listen, what the hell? Listen, obviously, Jay, you've been on my OnlyFans. I have some great big pictures. Let's see. Angel says, bro got the K-Cups. And Jason, yeah, good luck to Bobby. There isn't really one content creator making a living with it on their own. It's a tough road. I'm rooting for him. I'll say this, Jay. There's not one making it on just their own with that one thing. There are ones that are making it with multiple avenues of revenue, doing some writing, doing some videos, maybe doing a radio thing. So there's definitely options. There's definitely options, so Jay says, I'm down to buy some goofball stuff. Appreciate it, man. He says 2 goofball swimsuit calendars. So,
I got my giant speed already.
let me just tell you, we have discussed doing that, and trust me, you would never want February to end. No, I think a swimsuit calendar is definitely out of the picture there. But yeah, like I said, we are definitely working on some stuff there. So we'll let you guys know on that. Trophy. We're also working on something else that'll probably be coming out next week as well. So listen, I don't want to spoil too much here, but Monday, because I'm gonna have nothing to do this weekend. There's no family things. There's no neighbors to help out. Monday is probably going to be an announcement episode for us on a couple things. So definitely you want to be there for that one. Plus we'll have our shows,
Yeah, that makes part of Monday.
That whole thing as well. Yeah. All right, let's get back to the news here, guys. We got to talk about the Giants signing. They re-signed Ty Summers. Which first off, that's not a very good picture of him. It took forever to find a picture of him. It looks like he's upset to be re-signed by the Giants. He's like, oh God, I had to go back here.
He's trying to TiVo. Bring back T-Boy.
Those you forgot, Ty Summers was on our squad last year. 6'1", 241 pounds, 29 years old. Played in 16 games, 2 starts, 29 tackles, which was his highest since 2020. 1 tackle for loss, 1 pass deflected. And then sorry, I got to Angel, you're killing me, man.
Yeah.
Ty Summers, let's go. This is our year. Oh my gosh. And then Jay says, it's not a great sign when you can't find a picture of one of our players. Yeah. Good. We're trying to be optimistic here, damn it, guys. Yeah. Anyway, did have a 64 even PFF grade, 53.1 pass rush, 78.3, which by the way is his run defense. That was like one of the top 30% of linebackers. So I'm trying to give you something positive. 46.6 coverage grade. But let's be honest here. He's a special teamer. 112 snaps on defense, 272 on special teams. And the Giants, we've said it before, every time they do it, because we have to keep pointing it out, the Giants are loading up their freaking special teams this offseason. And it's, you heard, John Mara, you got to win. But, one of the things they talked about was special teams and defense. It's weird because the offense got the pass even though they suck. But what have they done? They've loaded up the secondary. They've gotten a couple of, bit rotational players to the defensive line, and they loaded up the special teams now. That's what they've done. They've done pretty much jack and squat on offense, minus getting a couple backup linemen. So I guess they listen to the boss. Who's the boss? It's not Tony Danza. It's John Mara.
Yeah. Damn.
So I know. So, but anyway, listen, I got no problem having Ty Summers back. He's cheap. He's reliable. He's a good special teams player. You just got to understand he is what he is. He's not a guy who's going to step in and fight Bobby Okereke for the top linebacker spot. Like, that's not who he is. That's not what he's going to be. Like, not everybody has to be that, but he fits a role and he fits it well. So
it would either be terrific or terrifying if he was, because it either means that Ty took a really big step forward, or Okereke took a really big step back,
or took 2 steps forward, 2 steps back. They get together because opposites attract.
Ooh, they do.
Oh yes, I went Paula Abdul on you. What now?
There's the what's quote the cartoon cats dancing behind me.
Jason, sounds like Rob, cheap to have around and reliable.
I do this for free.
Okay, let me assure you, he's not reliable. I kid. He's reliable-ish.
Ish is good enough.
Ish. What time you come on for the show tonight? Oh my gosh. All right. Let's get on to the next one here before we air more of our dirty laundry. We'll be like the next Talking Giants and break up here too. So listen, we've talked about this here a little bit here. There's been rumors and more rumors about this here. Evan Neal is apparently legit open to playing guard. There's been talks about this for years. People have said point blank he has to do it, and I agree with that 100%. Listen, if you watch the film, the biggest issue he has, like, you hear about the term setting the edge with edge rushers mostly. I like to use it with tackles, because you're the last line of defense on the outside of that offensive line. You have to set that edge and make sure no one gets past you. And he sucks at that. Not trying to be mean, just trying to be blunt, be honest. He is a big guy. He had a good run blocking grade this year. He cannot stop pass rushers getting around him.
No, how many times have you seen him just even give up? Run past him.
So moving him to the inside makes sense, where he's no longer the last line defense. So, this was, GM Joe Shane talking about it. He said that Evan Neal is open to the idea of playing guard. Now, he didn't go as far as to say he would play guard, but he did say Neal would, quote, do whatever he can to help the team, which is a little ambiguous. And that's where we're like, okay, he's open to playing guard if it helps the team, but is he really? I don't know. But you keep hearing the rumors he is. So I got to think there's at least some truth to those rumors. And it's a big difference right there from 2023, when his response about being moved to guard was this. And I quote, and I only quote this because it's a horrible quote, by the way. He says, as soon as I stepped out of the womb, first off, you didn't step out of the womb, sir.
Yeah.
You are not able to walk as you're being born. And if you're walking out of there, just saying, like,
there's other problems you have there.
Just saying, like, anyway, he says, as soon as I stepped out of the womb, I stepped out an offensive tackle, and that's how I feel. Yeah. That was one of his better quotes, along with burger flippers, he referring to him.
Yeah.
Sorry, Evan. We'll never let that go. We will always remember you for the burger flippers thing, no matter how long you play here. I hold a grudge, but
No.
I know it's crazy. Jersey guys holding a grudge. Like I said, I'm glad to hear it though. I actually don't think he'd be a horrible guard. I really don't. And like I said, if you're really able to take out what he is worst at, and let him focus on what he does do good. And like I said, he's not a bad run blocker. He showed that last year. He does not have issues taking people head on necessarily either. He has issues people getting around him. That's the problem. Is he ever going to be a great guard? I don't think that. But can he be an average guard or at least okay guard and still develop into a guy that is in this league for quite a while? That's potential as a guard. If he stays a tackle, I'm telling you right now, he'll be a swing tackle somewhere else for somebody in camp next year, and he'll be out of the league after the training camp is over. That's the career path he's going down. Like somebody else say, let me give him a shot in case the Giants just sucked at this. Which, granted, is a very valid potential scenario.
A very valid situation.
Yeah, but I don't think it's that with him. I really don't. So,
yeah,
I'm glad to hear that he's looking at potentially moving over to guard there. So, all right. Another story been falling here this offseason. And we thought it was all shored up and ready to go, but apparently Dable is unsure of the play call this year, guys. We don't know who's going to be calling plays for the Giants. This is from Paul Schwartz of the New York Post. Said, Brian Dable said he will go through the spring and summer before making a decision on whether or not he continues to call the plays on offense. Thought we had already established he was not going to, but I guess we are not going to establish this. It is unestablished. This establishment here. And keep in mind, this is what John Mara, the co-owner of the Giants, said during the as soon as the offseason began, like really over the day after the last game there. He said, do you really, he said, he said, maybe he makes some other changes in the way he operates going forward. I talked to him about it. Do you really believe it's in our best interest for you to continue calling the plays? I said, I'm not going to demand that you do one thing or the other, but are you better off letting somebody else call the plays? That's a discussion that we're going to continue to have. Yeah. And
it's pretty much your boss telling you don't call the plays.
Yeah, like that's not good. But he did say it's got to be his decision at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So, listen, I give Merrick credit for at least not publicly saying point blank, I'm demanding this. This is what you're going to do. But, goddamn. He did, but at the end, he said he's going to do what he wants.
Yeah.
But he thinks it's the wrong decision otherwise. He did say that, basically.
Pretty much.
So, like I said, I'm gonna give them the props for, not forcing him. But Dable, dude, come on, like, seriously.
Yeah. As the play call returns,
you can't call the plays. I'm sorry, this can't be done again. And my biggest issue, besides the fact that, again, let's be honest, our best year we had in this Dable time period was with Mike Kaff calling the plays year one. Look at some of the plays he gave. Why would you ask Russell Wilson about the 2-point conversion the Giants tried against the Steelers Monday Night Football? Yeah, why don't we ask him about that? When they did a weird snap and all kinds of, it's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And I feel like there was multiple games that we'd see plays and go, what the hell? And how many times do we see guys who were out of position, blocking downfield, illegal receivers, all this stuff, like ridiculous amount of time. Like, I don't ever remember seeing that. At one point, he's got to realize Dable is too much for him. There's nothing wrong with saying that. It's actually admirable to admit that you need to give up some of that.
Yeah, listen, and it's a fine line too. Like, you want your leader to be able to do everything like that he's asking everyone to do, which is fine. Fill in, help out. But what also makes a really good leader is delegation.
Yep.
It has the ability to trust his people to do what they have to do. And then you kind of go in there, you coach, you help them up and elevate them from there. You don't take away positions and roles from them.
Yeah.
Instead, you go, why would you do that? How about we do like this?
Yeah.
Or let's try something like this. That allows him to go see like more defense, special teams, and concentrate on other sides of the football besides just the offense, where he's not getting the full picture because he's trying to do the play call instead of actually, being the head coach.
Yeah. And some of it also got to be a respect thing for Mike Kafka, who flat out deserves that responsibility back. He has been pooped on by the Giants, I feel like, so much it's not even funny. Like, it's like he's a cup and there's two girls around him. It's really bad at this point. Like, it's just ridiculous. If you don't know what that reference is to, do not Google that at work. Just saying. Do not. I said to Google it at work. Not. But I just think that there's a lot of people in the NFL circles that really appreciate what he does, his knowledge level. He's got a lot of respect around the league. He's gotten multiple head coaching interviews. That just tells you that the NFL circles tell you that they don't think he's the issue.
Yeah.
So at some point, the Giants got to give him a shot. And this is the last year of his contract, I believe. So
yep, 4-year contract.
Give him that shot. Let's see what he can do. Because this offense, I know it's going to sound really freaking weird to say this. This offense is so much better talent-wise than it was back in, with the 2021 season here. That's a totally different ball game right now. Because look at the receivers we're charting out. Isaiah Hodgins and Richie James.
You made them work.
You got Malik Neighbors. Potentially one of the top 5 receivers in the league based on how he played last year. Potentially, you'll see the rest of his career pans out before I crown that on him, but he's right there now. Wando Robinson, the PPR machine, using a fantasy football term for you, Rob.
Ooh,
for you.
I appreciate that.
And then Darius Slayton, the speedster. I mean, listen, seriously, by the way, it's funny. Literally, as we're doing the show, Bobby Skinner just messaged me on Twitter. So, like I said, good guy. Anyway, I just think that you got to give him the shot. You really do. And I feel like it's the right thing to do after everything that he did. So, like I said, hopefully it's Kafka for our sake, for the Giants' sake, for Dable's sake, even. Let's be honest in that. Like, he's about to lose his job. You got to make important decisions, smart decisions. Really do. So, all righty. We got one more segment here for you guys. Let's talk about the UFL. It's a weird thing. We do this like once a year, the UFL. Let's talk about ex-Giants at the UFL. And that guy is right there. One of the worst first-round picks in the entire history of the New York Giants. Absolutely crazy. You forget he's still playing sometimes, but there he is. So the UFL season started in February. I'm sorry, in February, on Friday. Wow. You're telling me another cup of coffee, right? And we're going to get into all the players now that are still there. In case you want to root for them, but listen, it's still football. It may not be NFL, but it's football still. So Arlington Renegades have safety Joe Powell, who played for the Giants at 16, and linebacker Tazar Skipper, who played for them at 19. Again, you can see these are not the biggest names ever. Birmingham Stallions. They got some bigger names, actually, for the Giants. Dave Guglielmo, of course, the offensive line coach from 04 to 08, so including one of the Super Bowls. And also back in 2020, obviously, he made a little appearance there. Case Cookus, the quarterback, was on the Giants in 2020. Tay Crowder. Ooh, remember Tay Crowder? He was with us for a few years. Asked for his release, and then instantly probably regretted that decision because he hasn't played in the NFL since. Corner Mario Goodrich, who was with us last year. Corner Madre Harper, who was with us in 2020, and offensive tackle Jerron Jones, who was with us in 17-18. The DC Defenders had the big one there you saw in the picture. DeAndre Baker, who obviously was our first-round pick back in 2019. It only lasted for 2019 thanks to locker room issues, off-field issues, all kinds of hoopla. We don't need to rehash all that stuff there. Yeah. He is actually legitimately, though, one of the best players in all of the UFL guys. He was actually in talks with a couple of teams to come in for workouts and stuff like that. I was thought he might be coming back to the league even still. Didn't work out, but who knows if it ever does for him. Offensive lineman DJ Fluker. Didn't realize he was still playing. Running back Deion Jackson was with us in 23. Jaden Mickens, who was with us in 22 and 23, the wide receiver. Quincy Roche. Remember what was a big deal it was when we lost him? People are like, oh, they put him on the practice squad. It's horrible. They lost him. And because he had a decent rookie year and then basically was never heard from again. The Houston Roughnecks got corner Corn Elder, who was with us in 19. Memphis Showboats have Tenny. I'm going to mispronounce this name probably. I'm going to pull a Rob here.
Yeah.
Adusi. Adewusi. It's a Giant back in 2019. I don't remember him at all, guys. I got to say.
Yeah.
There's a couple players here. I got to be honest with you guys. I don't remember. I feel like they were like training camp fodder, basically. That's all they were. Tight end Ryan Izzo in 2021. Offensive lineman Christian Sokole with 2017, 2018 was with us. The Michigan Panthers head coach Mike Nolan, who was an assistant with the Giants back in 1993 to 1996. Obviously, Nolan is one of the bigger name coaches in that league. Jamon Green, the corner, who's with us in 2023. Defensive end Breland Speaks, who was with us in 2021. Then you got the San Antonio Brahmas. You got Henry Black, the corner, who's with us in 22. Jashawn Corbin, who's with us in 22-23, the running back. And it's funny, remember people being very upset when we cut him. As if we were like losing somebody important. Maybe it didn't work out. Offensive lineman Derek Kelly in 21, who's with us. Long snapper Cameron Lyons, who was with us last year in 23, briefly when it was the injury to Kreider, so he was with us shortly. Safety Jordan Mosley with us in 22. Punter Brad Wing. I cannot believe this guy's still in the league, any league, I should say at this point. 2015 to 2017. Like I said, at this point, he's 34 years old. That's a good career of football. So he's still playing anywhere at 34, I feel like. But he hasn't played really with any professional league since 2017, except a 2-game stint he had with the Steelers back in 23. But because he's doing these kind of things. So, obviously it makes sense for him to do these kind of leagues still. The St. Louis Battlehawks offensive lineman coach Mark Colombo. Yes, remember him from his 1 year in 2020 that did not go so well. Defensive end, another one I'm going to mess up the name on here. Freedom Akinmaladun. Probably mispronouncing that. 2019. Again, I don't remember him. Jacob Sanders, remember him? We got him last year. We had him in for training camp because he played so well last year in the UFL. We brought him in for training camp and just didn't go ahead and do too well. So, like I said, listen, when I say once a Giant, always a Giant. So if that's the case, we got to root for these guys, right?
That's it.
So, like I said, at least it's football. It's something we can watch. So, all right, guys, that's going to call it a night for us there. We'll be back again for you guys tomorrow. Now, keep in mind, tomorrow we should hopefully be going back to our draft talk here, unless anything major happens. But it's really not that time of the year for major things to happen. So we'll be back again tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. As always, guys, we are live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter/X, Twitch, and, of course, Rob's favorite, my LinkedIn profile. And, of course, as always, we are available the next day on all the audio podcast platforms. That's Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, all the big ones there. So if you haven't already, guys, hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the share button there. And, again, we want to, extend our support to Bobby Skinner and his latest project here. If you go to the comments section on YouTube, or where else did it play on there? Like, it kicked me off of Facebook for some reason. Probably Facebook didn't like that I was putting a YouTube link on there, but YouTube had it on there and Twitch. So go to YouTube; it's the easy one. We put in the show comments section the link to Bobby Skinner's new channel. Go ahead and hit the subscribe for him as well, guys, to support him. Again, we'll be back again tomorrow night for you guys. Appreciate you guys as always for watching, listening, and appreciate you guys as always. And as always, Giant fans. Go G-Man! Go G-Man!
Thanks for listening to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. We appreciate your support.
Thanks so much.
Please,